Yo, yo, what up, man?
What's going
What's good
on?
with you, man?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thank you for joining us.
You already know, man. I looked and I saw it was 8:02 and I was like, yo, I'm already late. I'm already late. Nah, but we good.
It's all good,
You're
man.
good, man. You're good. You're good. I'm just glad you're here, man. Thank you for coming. I'll let you know right now. We're recording, so we are live on the podcast right now. Thank you for joining us. So this is episode 31 of the Grindhouse podcast. We have a special guest today. The goat, as it says on the Zoom caption there, the goat himself.
I didn't even peep and said that. That's just literally my Zoom name for work. So I'd be like,
man, yo, we're excited because the record Mature, man. It literally, like, I wish I had listened to it much earlier than I did. I think I found out about it maybe like a few months ago. And the record is insane. So we're excited to talk about that with you and a few other things that you're working on. Let me introduce my co-host on the other side, my man Chris Martin. What up, Chris?
What's up, guys? Back to it.
So I feel like we have to start here because of it'd be crazy for us to ignore it. I wanted to get sort of your experience and your feelings on what's been happening with the Black Lives Matter movement, with the injustices of the criminal justice system, and how have you been taking it and dealing with it?
Well, as far as for everybody that knows me know I'm very big within, Black community with and just for the movement overall. I done fought many things when it came down to my system and where I'm at, where I'm residing, whether it's Boston, Brockton. Like, I know my job, Teen Empowerment, we led the Boston protest, which was dope, and it was very peaceful. It was very good, and I also seen the aftermath after it. And it's something that, like, for people of my age that's younger, we look at it as, something like this ain't gonna happen. Something like this ain't going, be like this, because we wasn't in those times of, the 90s where the riots was happening. Things was actually going on where, it was crazy for, I'm pretty sure, even my, elders and peers to even see. So, I mean, it's been good, but the aftermath, I think with the aftermath, that's where the media is getting the most into it. And I think the media plays a big, big, big part in this revolution, because y'all got to tell what's right, what's wrong. Y'all got to give, the blueprints that others are laying out and showing that this ain't how it actually is. This is how it actually is. I know a lot of people that have been watching the movement, and they can watch it from my live, whoever's there, because they want to get what's going on there, not just, on the TV or showing, a sky view of everything. When it's down to the people that's there, you know what I'm saying, they're actually recording what's going on. But it's been good. Certain police has, taken kneels, and actually, I feel like that's what the people want. Honestly, people want surrender. People want surrender from the superior system, like the police system, because it's the only result that we can get right now with everything else, while we're working on what's behind the scenes, the final steps, like actually targeting the education. And there's certain people who do certain things. There's people who are soldiers during this revolution. There's people who are behind the keyboards talking the talk like they should. There's people that's in the education systems, changing it that way. There's people within the mayor's office, within the presidential office, that's changing it. So we just got to get more of it. That's all. It's just like how this pandemic has affected everybody. The movement has to spread and affect everybody, just slowly but surely, though. But yeah.
That's beautiful, man. I completely agree. I work for a nonprofit organization. I teach film. And I teach a lot of high schoolers about filmmaking and the power of filmmaking. And that's one thing I talk to them about, is like, as filmmakers, like, this is your opportunity to use what you have to elevate other people as a platform. It's greater than just yourself right now. And, a lot of people, obviously, they want to go to the protest. They want to see what's happening. But like you said earlier, man, you got the people up above on the planes. You got the people on the sidelines. But really, the best information, I feel like you got to get it from the people inside of the protest themselves, live streaming.
Right.
That's because I've been finding that the media, just in talking to people and usually they consume stuff through the mainstream media. They only have so much knowledge of what's actually happened on the ground, and they think that the biggest issue that's happening is the looting and the rioting, and that's the first thing they talk about. Exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I was here for my people in Brockton yesterday and the day before when we had our first protest. You know, it did escalate to, you know, tear gas and all that. But when it came down to it, it was positive at the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
You were there for that, right? You were there for that?
Yes. Because, you know, I own a store in Brockton. Right now I'm in Brockton right now at the studio. You know what I'm saying? It don't stop when it comes down to, you know what I'm saying, a city that I've been witness to actually be here and witness, you know, police brutality. I've been stopped by police. I didn't went to the school systems. I didn't been in the school system. They have a whole police station within Brockton High itself. You know what I'm saying? And it comes to the point where we gotta honestly understand what is that doing and how is that moving the culture forward when it comes down to the kids and minorities here. You know what I'm saying? And just being there though showed you know, a big fight in a way of we're all together, we're all standing. And even with the fight, for people who's not fighting or fighting for different cause, whatever the case may be, you know, I knew what people were doing up front, putting their hands up and saying, you know what I'm saying, we want this, we want that. And, you know, I know a lot of inner city leaders within Brockton that are, you know, doing the best that they can to kind of get their point across of what's going on and how it should be handled. But when it comes down to it, I was always just saying that when we look at a lot of these protesters too, a lot of these people that are doing the mischief are not from the city. Yeah. A lot of people came to steal from Brockton, but we at Brockton don't got nothing to steal. We don't got nothing. Just like, you know what I'm saying? Like
I saw that Dunkin' Donuts people went through though.
Yeah,
and it came to the point where they can only vandalize a Dunkin' Donuts in a courthouse. Yeah. Now, if we talking a courthouse, I wouldn't be mad. I would be mad both ways, but you know what I'm saying? Because it's wrong and it's right. But, you know, there's been times I went to that courthouse 7 years old, traumatized about what it's doing to my brother when they're charging him for this and sentencing him to this. I got to be 6 years old in that courthouse looking at that and being in that building. You start to think, what is this building for? What is it to do? I know people that have to check in with their POs every day at that building. You know what I'm saying? Every week at that building. And it just comes to the point where, you know, where the violence, it definitely has to calm down to transpire into something better. But for everything it was worth, you know, we definitely didn't get as crazy as I thought. And I'm very blessed for that. You know what I'm saying?
So when it comes to music, and this could be a conversation, you know, between what you're doing, but also, you know, what you think other musicians to do, or maybe if musicians have questions, what can they do at a time like this? Like, how can the music change to more support the movement?
I feel like stating your voice, stating your claim, stating your piece. You know, I've found out many ways that I can just be supportive and being an artist. You know what I'm saying? I know, but as well, I have been out here. That's the biggest difference. You know what I'm saying? Is that that we can kind of speak about it, talk about it, and still march about it, speak about it, and still, you know, scream about it, yell about it. But behind the scenes, we got to think about, what are we doing? Are we putting our money into Black businesses? Are we actually acknowledging that the Black dollar counts? And as, you know, people, artists, whatever the case may be, that we all have an input into this. And I think that's what's been slowing down the artist side of it. And this is not even like to be like some people aren't speaking out, but some people feel definitely, you know, closed in about the situation. They feel, you know, overwhelmed, because even being out there myself, I feel overwhelmed. I feel like, okay, this is going on with everything else that's going on, and everything, you know what I'm saying? So it's more weight on weight. But as artists, we can display our voice, display our piece, be the ones to come up with a lot of dope solutions to kind of target the anger somewhere, put it that way, you know. And I feel like that's what we can do as an artist in the biggest part, and just keep making music, keep displaying your piece, because right now it's getting crazy. That was the biggest thing with a lot of older artists that was good. Sam Cooke would throw a festival for, you know, Black Lives Matter. Like there would be a lot of going on. There would be artists protesting, performing at, you know, Martin Luther King's, you know, protest that they're doing, things like that. There was so much big influences. And as artists, local artists, big artists, whatever, we can do that just with the push of a button, the word of the day, we can do that many ways.
And I have a question about the community now, because the musicians are one part of it. And I'm talking about in relation to just the music industry and what the music industry can do in a time like this. What about the community? Because I feel like, we talk about Black-owned businesses. Musicians are Black businesses, right? There's a lot of musicians right now in Boston and in Lynn and Brockton who I feel like they need, and you are one of them. Obviously you have a fan base, but I feel like more people need to hear you. More of the community need to get behind the musicians, the Black musicians of this area. So do you have any sort of perspective on that? What the community can do to more support these Black-owned businesses, including these Black musicians?
Keep pushing them forward.
Yeah.
Invest in them. It comes to a point where I am a local artist, and I'm an artist overall. But when it comes down to it, it's like support. Support is everything. Support is all someone needs to just keep going, just to keep talking about a certain thing every day. To keep their head on a swivel. Support. I think when it comes down to the community, we also got to think about, do we want it for ourselves more than we think we do? Because every day I know people that be like, yeah, do this, do that, and they do the exact opposite. Yeah. I've come to a point where I've been protesting for a good 3 days straight, 4 days, and I haven't got to the music yet. And I feel like that was a big aspect where I had to kind of tap into the studio today and be like, well, I need to go in and speak about this. I need to let my pain out in a way different way where, not so many people's around. I can kind of rap to myself. I can sing to myself. I can cry to myself. I can do whatever I want, but we need to actually install it within ourselves to kind of project that energy back out to the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I want to talk about one of your songs that you had on Redline, because I really enjoyed the Tupac soundbite that you on the Get Up song, the Tupac soundbite you had.
Mm-hmm. That's a perfect song for this moment.
That's exactly why I wanted to talk about it. Can you talk more about why you chose to use? Let's talk more about that song and just unpack that song a little bit. But also in terms of your influences, it seems like obviously Tupac is one. Can you talk more about your influences and why you chose this soundbite for Get Up song?
Yeah. Because Tupac is very influential to me when it comes down to what he was speaking about. Everybody, I feel like him as a person, he was so misunderstood as well. Yeah. He was a prophet to kind of come here, speak about what's going to be going on within the time and what's going to come within the future. It going full circle. And I picked it. The thing is, I didn't even think to throw that outro on there. Jules, which he was producer of the whole EP, because it's a collaborative EP. He was like, yo, I'm gonna throw. He sent it to me. When he sent it to me, that was added in there, and I was like, this is perfect because this is exactly the point I wanted to get across. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to it, if anybody knows me, my tattoos, I got Ace Life across my stomach, which is literally the same font, same bullet as Tupac, and I only did that just in respect and honor of him and my cousin that passed. I don't got Thug Life, but Ace Life is my cousin that passed, and he did music as well. So he had a bigger meaning of what he was fighting for when he was speaking and rapping, and it all comes, just like I said, full circle.
Yeah, I was thinking about the song specifically, Changes today, and just how I think that song was I was 6 years old, I think, when that song came out, and when I was 6 years old, the song made me cry. And I'm 30 years old now, and I was listening to the song the other day as I was driving around. That shit made me cry. That shit is a timeless song, and I feel like that when it comes to music, man, I think and this is what I like about your music. It seems like you are always rooted in something bigger than yourself. So where do you can you talk more about your experiences leading up to this music thing? Like, what made you take music seriously? What made you use your voice essentially as your voice as a platform essentially?
A lot honestly did that for me. I would say, I'm 19 now. I've been doing music since I was 13, 14, but I love music all my life. I've been singing and rapping since I was 12, 7. And it comes to a point where I'm a person that's very consistent. And, I never really found no studios and no things like that to kind of get into when I was younger. So it was like I kind of can just sit in this confined room and write. I can do videos and things like that. And that was one of my big things where I was really just letting my pain out. But when it came to the point where people actually started to look at my music as a like you said, as a platform, as a thing for them to kind of sink into, it made me happy. It made me fulfilled. And even then, I still don't think I get the message across every day. Cause like you said, you know what I'm saying? You was like, yo, mature. I just listened to it and I get that every day. And I'm like, well, the work is going to stand still even when everything else comes crashing down. You know, just having that in installment in music is so important because that's all what I always wanted, just to be heard, just to be, you know, speak my piece. And it really got crazy once I started really just doing headlining, like doing shows of people that I looked up to. Like when I opened up for J-Rock at the Middle East, it was a moment for me. It was like, yo, anything's possible. I then came to the point where, you know, being me, I never hung around the same age as me because, you know, they wasn't doing the same things I was doing. I was getting into the house 2 in the morning at middle school just because of what the dream I wanted and what I wanted to grab onto was so bigger than anything else. I wanted to really display that. So it really started to come serious when I honestly like just started writing, really getting in tapped into with people that I know. I think it's always been in my heart, but it really started to pick up the pace when I just started to just jump every stair that I can get over. You know what I'm saying? Win every competition I can and perform in front of many people as I could. And it's still that same energy until this day, you know?
I gotta say, man, you know, in terms of like charisma and energy, like it is special. I feel like you have a special engagement. Like I saw it, like some of your performances, like it seemed like you have a special connection and charisma with the people, man. That seems very, very powerful. I really, really can't see. I really, really can't wait to see you with like a large following because I really do you specifically can do a lot with that. So bringing it back to Mature real quick. Can you tell us a little bit about let's talk about like the making of that album? I know we're a little like 2 years late in reviewing the album, but I feel like this album deserves like a platform. So just talk to us a little bit about the behind the scenes of making that album and
like I so understand that because I'm still creating stuff and I haven't put out my a album by me, like personally by me and my, you know, team in a while, since like a year, a good, because I've been wanting to kind of get my message across step by step. You know, people jump onto certain things at certain times, and that's fine because, you know, time is everything. Time, you got to be patient and you got to be, you know, like a stone and just wait to kind of everything that you want to kind of come your way. And when it came down to the Mature, it was like, yo, I want to put out my first body of work that's actually going to identify me as the artist that I am and how I can evolve within that process. Because, you know, that's going to be my main thing, evolving, changing, growing. And if my fan base and the people that I love can't understand that, then they don't understand the music and the whole goal from the first place, you know? Me and my brother Jay Rose, he does music as well. He produces videography, he does it all. There were so many spots that I was in that I feel like just wasn't right for me, and I needed to get out of them. So when I mean by that, I mean just by the certain type of people you hang around with, certain type of work ethic that person has next to you that can kind of fuel you. I needed someone with that. And J Rose, my brother / friend, we did that together with Mature. He produced most, like really kind of all of the project, mixed and mastered it, and really just kind of, you know, broke down everything I needed within one person. And we recorded it in his room. Like now we're at a commercial space, but before we wasn't at a commercial space. We was in like literally his room with everything he had. You know what I'm saying?
That's just crazy to me that great work can just be created just between two people. You know, all the different processes of making a record. Like you did it with family. That's beautiful.
Yeah. And it came to a point too where like I wanted everything to be original. Everything's original on there. Like I didn't have no YouTube. I didn't pay for no leases. I wanted everything to be ground up and strive
in a way where we look at it as like, yo, this is something that's a milestone for us. Like, that's a milestone for me. Once we came out with the Red Line, it was just like a kind of a spinoff of what type of life that I used to live, because everybody knows I'm from Boston, but I rep Brockton. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've been back and forth my whole life. And even now, I still live, even now I live in Boston because I've just moved from Brockton, but I still come back and show the city love and do things for the city. So with the Mature, it was to kind of get like my mind space at that time where it has been for years to come, and what can it, and what it can evolve into if we just keep going with the music and just keep, you know, pushing. But Mature was definitely like my baby. It was like something to craft, kind of, you know, let the people know that I want to stay here for as long as I can when it comes down to sound and versatility and you know, substance, lyrical, to the production. Like, I take all of that very seriously. So that was a big thing in my first, you know, tape, and we learned a lot of things from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything that I got with critiques wasn't bad. It was good, you know?
I mean, I gotta, sorry, Quero, I'll just say this real quick, and then you can ask the question. It's great. Like, I'm like blown away by that, by just finding that out, because for me, a big thing when it comes to releasing projects, you know, and this is something like, a project can be good if a few songs are good, you know, but I think if a project is good from beginning to end, like there's no like skip songs, that project is like a, you know, damn near classic. And it's just crazy that, like, you know, it was just like you and your brother like making this record together, and that record is as authentic as it is, as beautiful as it is. There's no songs that I want to skip through it, and it, you know, it just created out, you know, between two people, man. That's beautiful. Great. I'll let you ask her.
Thank you.
Ask her a question.
Yeah. So what's sort of like when you go to make a record, what does that look like? What does that process look like?
It's I would say it depends, man. I didn't knock tracks out in like a couple minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's been good. I done knocked out tracks in days, weeks. It really depends on what the producer's vibe is giving me and how easy I can speak on it, how easy I can talk. I started off a freestyler. So I used to be so bad with things to the point where I used to freestyle whole songs. And people used to be like, do it again. And I'd be like, I can't, because it's freestyle. And I used to get so bad with that because I didn't like writing. So I had to actually like come to a point where I understand what I'm trying to do and actually push it to myself. You know, there's people out there where it's like, yeah, I want to do real estate. I want to do this. I want to do that. But, you know, they're taking 80 hours on the classes. They're stalling ideal in time. Yeah. And when it came down to a lot of songs that I did, I was just taking my time with it. I was just literally taking my time with it. If it really came down to like, if I needed to do the beat over, whatever I needed to do, then I was like, okay, you know, this is going to take a little more nurturing than most, you know. And even then, I still quadruple track songs when I'm about to release them, and things I can change, want to change. But the process is very easy. Before anything, but I would say before, to kind of answer your question, before a concrete song is written, there's always like a demo or like a freestyle somewhere that started up that track before it came, you know, to what it was. So yeah.
Word. In terms of talking, like bringing back to the scene in Brockton, because I like some of my favorite artists right now are from Brockton or living in Brockton. Can you talk about the music scene?
Can you name some of
Seefour for sure.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yep.
Okay, it's probably because I kind of like low key went outside. All right. Yeah. Nah. I got a lot from Brockton, man. J Rose, Emil, Luke Bars. Luke Bars is like, you know, a dope friend of mine. Van Buren, really all of Van Buren.
Yeah.
Is the homies. Lance Jackson, Nikki Monavelli, which literally I'm with her now. It's who else? There's just so many people that I love. When it comes down to everything too, they got a dope battle rap scene out here, where it's like, you know, battle rap is like becoming a thing in Brockton, which, you know, there's, you know, the platforms that battle raps are really on are like, you know, New Bedford, things like that. Like I know some local ones in Fall River, stuff like that. And they getting a real good battle scene out here. King of the Five, which is dope. They got a lot of dope, you know, rappers, artists there. Yeah, it's just so many I can name off the top. That's just so crazy right now. But yeah, we're all moving as
why is the music so good from Brockton? What is it about Brockton that really kind of gives it an authentic like sound, you know?
I think it's really just the experiences that have came from our personal dealings, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, like I grew up with Van Buren. Like literally, they was one of the first people I met when I got to Brockton. I was, like I said, I was 13, 14. So they was like, what? They was like 16, 17. They was way older than me, you know what I'm saying? And we all met at the Sound Lab. And we kind of formed a music scene because we wanted to do that because, you know, Boston's kind of far, you know what I'm saying? You can't go to Boston for every open mic, every show, every this, you know, so we kind of wanted to start a platform here, and open mics was a big thing of it, you know, where we perform, people kind of critique, things like that, and we kind of could get it right and get the boot camp started before anything. And yeah, so I think that's why, just the personal dealings out here is so crazy, to the point where we're dealing with a lot of situations that's different than Boston and different than, you know, Quincy, Randolph, but, you know, it's its own little just place that just has so much people that are just, you know, on their ish when it comes down to them speaking mentally, spiritually, and all. It's dope.
Absolutely.
So with like the pandemic, obviously you can't perform live.
Nope. Sucks.
Yeah. Have you thought about, you know, like doing virtual events or sort of like, what are you doing to deal with that?
Really, I know, man. It's so hard.
Yeah,
because
it sucks, honestly.
It's like performing is what I love. Performing is stage presence is everything to me. And I look at people like Prince, James Brown, the people that I literally love their stage presence. That was their high. That was their niche. That was their thing, to the point where, you know, when it comes down to it, I feel like a lot of artists are going to have to understand that if you want to sell tickets, a lot of stuff is going to have to be straight up to your stage presence. It's going to have to be, I want to go spend my money to see that person. I want to spend a ticket. I don't care how much it is, because if you see these big artists, they up-roll tickets are outrageous. So it comes to the point where, you know, people would want to see you that bad. You got it down pat. And I think with what's going on now, I've found many outlets. I think meditation is a good one. I've been in the studio more hands-on with a lot of things now. When it comes down to the tracks and like, okay, this is really my way of performing. Protesting, being with my people and screaming till my voice can't take no more. That's a, you know, way I've been kind of letting it out. Virtual is always good, but it's not the same feeling. I tried one, which was for So Far Boston. And it kind of just, it was a dope platform to kind of broadcast all over the world. And even then, even when you're virtually performing all over the world, it don't feel the same, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, the virtual thing is going to definitely shift, and they're going to try to do way more things with it to make it better, but it's still not the same authentic feel being in front of a crowd, holding a mic and jumping, sweating like that. Like that's always my highlights: jumping, sweating, feeling what you're feeling and getting it out. So I've been trying different ways.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I wanted to talk about your showmanship and just like the level of energy that you bring to every performance. And like I said, the engagement that you get from that, like people, it seems like people really feel connected with you when you're performing. And you make up you made up a great point when you say like artists really need to kind of like think about that when they're, you know, when they're out there performing. Do you have any advice for like how to like really kind of develop a better onstage presence?
I would say look at the people you like, look at the people you love, because it's like, you know, artists that you look up to, I feel there's nothing new under the sun. Mm-hmm. when it comes down to the music, everybody's gonna have a vibe that's very different to them because they're different people. They have a different face, they have a different voice. But it's always gonna be the same tactics, in the same ideas, but just elevated more because we got more technology, we got more, you know what I'm saying, things that can do crazier things. But like, look at the people you look up to and you love. Like I look at Kendrick, I look at all of these stage presence people that hold and kind of captivate what a stage performance should look like. Give that, and they give it every time. They never disappoint. So you would want to look at, you know, the winners instead of, you know, the people who were so good in their songs, but their songs never really matched what they did on stage. And they was good on stage, but their stage presence never matched their songs. And you know what I'm saying? You would want to get a bundle when it comes down to an artist. So like looking at people you love, people, you know, and that's down to everything. I watch everything down to a T. I watch the way they move their hands, their
You're
legs.
You're a student of the game, man. That's
yeah,
great.
Everything, like a sponge. I soak up. So once I take that, I notice that once I implement that into me, people have seen it. People have been like, yo, you're mixed with a Pac, you're mixed with all of these people into one forming you. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I can't be mad at that either because I'm not the first person to do music. You know what I'm saying? So we got to kind of take old tricks and turn them into new tricks and kind of, you know, alter it.
Do you have any advice for like artists that are coming up that want to like open for like a bigger act?
Keep working and show that you want it more than others. Like I said, I didn't have to do competitions. Like when it came down to the J-Rock one, shout out to Leeds, he did a rap race. And the rap race was rounds of artists that was versing each other to kind of get that headlining spot and money. Now, when it comes down to money, I don't play about my money. You know what I'm saying? So, and sometimes I'm not even doing it for that. I'm doing it because out of, you know, I'm going to get my point across.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of the moments when it came down to when I opened up for J-Rock. Like, I had to go through like 2 rounds. I made it to, I think I did round 2. And I went to the final and I won the final. And even then it was like, yo, like, is this even believable? Because I kept going. And that night, I can tell you, I went home that night by myself. I was 17, walking from getting on a train from the Red Line with like $300 in my pocket and a chance to open up for someone. And I was like, bro, doing that, it comes to a point. First of all, once you're on the train, you're like, did this really happen? Like I'm going back home right now and I'm on the train. And that doesn't mean that, you know, life is bad or that, you know, you can't do better. There's always a better outlook on things. And I would look at those small things and those small struggles and be like, well, it can only go up from here. It can only go better from here. I can only be, you know, going to a train going on a train to a show. In the next show, I'll be riding in a car. Next show, I'll be in a plane to another state. You know what I'm saying? It got to elevate. So taking those small moments and putting it within the craft and like honestly showing that, like when I showed up to venues, I would show that, I've been out there for a good 40 minutes trying to get here, but I'm late and I want to get on this stage and rap and sing. And, you know, so you got to show that. You got to show that you're humble. You got to show that you honestly take in every piece of information that the promoters is giving you, different artists, different, you know, podcasts, different media outlets. You got to take all of that, dissect it, and put it into your, you know, paragraph of the day. So, yeah.
When did you know that music was what you were put on this earth to do?
When I was very young. I want to say like my first album I learned from front to back, and please don't torture me, okay? My first album I learned from front to back at like 6, 7. This is when simpler times was going on. Was I think R. Kelly's TP2. That dog. And if people look at the artistry and look at that album itself, when it comes down to production, he basically did it all himself. When it came down to vocals he was hitting, it was like, bro, there's some people that don't got a range like that. So like I was learning that at 7 years old. Like my mother used to play that in her work van because she used to work for like Locomotion and like, you know, do, drive kids around. She used to listen to that when it was just me and her in the car, and bump it back to back to back, front to back. And I know every word, every song, every rhythm. And that's when I knew, like, okay, well, if this is sinking into me like this, think about when I get older and my levels start to change and my body starts to change, my mental starts to change. It's gonna get even better than this musically because I'm feeling it. So around that age, 6, 7, when it came down to like 4 or 5, I didn't really know what I was gonna do. I was like, who knows what they're gonna do at that point as a kid. But I think I honestly learned it earlier, and that's what helped me.
So I want to talk about like how you collaborate with other people. What it like? Do you guys work in the studio together, or are you more type of like you kind of hand off the record?
I've been doing a lot more collabing, surprisingly, and I don't have no problem with it. It's just that I know people that's serious about the craft, people that's not. I didn't regret it a couple features now, and that's just saying that when moments are heated and things are like, okay, you're feeling something in that moment, you do it. And I've reacted off the instinct a lot, but now I've been since I got management, shout out to Exposed Team, and Kateria and Matt. Now since I got people that's in my kind of corner telling me this can be a right move, this cannot be a right move. This can be a feel good moment. This cannot be a feel good moment. You gotta, and me being me and young as I am, I differentiate those. I split them up and be like, okay, what's my pros and cons of this? What's the cons and pros to this? Am I benefiting this person, or is this person benefiting me, or are we benefiting each other? You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to a collab, like I know people who really got the heat. So when it's time and people be like, yo, let's collab, I'm down for it wholeheartedly. Yeah. I know some people that breathe and live this, and it's like, this is no joke. So when I go into studios and to collab with people, whether it's, at home or whatever, because I do got a little home studio set up and I've been sending out more waves since this pandemic has been going on. But being hands-on, I know I'm going to be even more harder with the song, more hands-on with it. This should be like this. This should be like that. But for now, I've been doing very good deeds for very good friends that, never stirred me wrong and never, put me in predicaments where I couldn't handle. So they have, given me the tools and been like, yo, can I get this verse back? And I'll get it back to them in a crazy time. Like I did a feature with Destiny, Claymore, The Call just recently. Me, Tyler Loyal, and G.O.D. recently just did a song. And that was thanks to SK and the Glass House Productions, like John Glass and them. And it's all about that. It's all about networking. When it comes down to it, the music is important, but I love networking the most. I love networking.
Words. So let's talk about what we can expect from you this year and future. What projects you got coming out?
I got a couple things coming out, and what I mean by that, I mean like whatever I'm feeling, I haven't been hesitating on it. And that's where, as the artist mind, we get stuck. We get stuck at hesitation. We get stuck at, this ain't gonna bump. This ain't gonna hit like last. And it's not about that. It's about what your craft is and how you want to portray it, how you want to get it out there. Next steps is really just collabing as much as I can. Yeah. Really, I've been in a very creative mode, so I haven't really been able to be veered by anything that's kind of taking me off task. Just collabing. New projects is coming soon. We're just waiting on different things to kind of pick up. With this pandemic, a lot's closed. A lot of things is happening where it's shifting kind of like the way we can kind of go about artistry. So I just been out there for my people, collabing, and really just trying to find a middle ground with myself when it comes down to what I'm trying to build with music, and just get it on all different aspects and platforms.
Word. Absolutely.
So yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us again. Is there anything else that you want to plug that we should look out for?
Yeah, man. When it comes down to it, The Call is out right now with Destiny. Nobody with Tyler Loyal, me, God's out right now. A lot is out. To kind of keep the people refreshed on what we trying to give. And I would say really just everything I do is on all platforms. Anybody can kind of just catch me and see me on anything. And I'm be making it known, you know what I'm saying, with authenticity. So, it's dope.
Critter and I were just talking. We were just like, man, it's what you said you were 1920?
19.
Damn. Dude, it's funny because like, yo, I'm telling you, listen to the album Mature. Like, it's like spot on. Like, bro, yeah. I would have not guessed that you were 19 years old. You like, man, you have like
a lot of people don't.
You have the wisdom and maturity of like a 30-year-old. I swear to God.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people shoot for the 20s. When they see the facial hair, they be like, we can go for this or that. It depends.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, man.
No problem, man. Anytime, man. I want to thank y'all for just being here and setting this platform for people and artists to kind of get what they got to get across. That's y'all whole movement, and I'm down here. I'm here for it, and I'm ready.
Word, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you like this episode, if you support us, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out Seefour. Check out his work on all streaming platforms. Please listen to Mature. And stay safe.
Oh God!
Stay safe.
And the On God's video out right now.
On God video's out right now. Check that video out too. That's dope. You'll see that energy for yourself. I love the backstage performance, like the you like going on stage behind the scenes.
Yeah,
backstage.
that was when I opened up for Tyga, and we had to kind of utilize the moment. So we was like, let's do it. Let's show how we get down when it comes to shows, production, all of that. And it was definitely a dope night. That was my first time performing there, so it was always kosher.
That's cool, man.
Hell yeah, man. Word, man. So thank you all. Be safe out there, everyone.
Take care.
You too, bro. Be safe, love, peace, and all that, man. You already know.